Shalom, brothers. First off, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harakak Wadash. My name is Brother Howard Shai Zion from the Great Millstone, Pennsylvania camp. All right, I want to give double honors to our teachers and apostles at Great Millstone who taught us the truth. Today I want to talk about this pagan Roman festival called Saturnalia. All right, just like me and Malak was talking, just now, and we were talking about it, man, going into this, and this is a pagan Roman festival, and it's a predecessor to Christmas. I'm going to read the definition. All right, it's out of the dictionary. It says Saturnalia, the ancient Roman festival of Saturn in December, which was a period of general merrymaking and was a predecessor of Christmas. All right, there you go, man. There you go. There you have it, man. Okay. That's what it is. Period. All right. It's out of the Oxford definition. So it says, an occasion of wild revelry. Latin, Saturnalis. Me and Malak was messing around talking about Saturnalia. It's funny as hell when you're putting some swag on it. But it says here, look, Latin, Saturnalia, matters relating to Saturn. So you Christians, unbeknownst to you, all right, because you blindly follow just something that doesn't make any sense, man. That's why I told people I can make a religion right now on a spot called Banshu. Banshu. Peace, love, happiness, and harmony amongst all men. It's the easiest thing, okay? You can convince anybody anything. I believe it was Tony Robbins that said, if you're persuasive enough and creative enough, you can convince anybody on anything, yes or no. And the way he simply said it, you'd have to say yes. If you're creative enough and witty enough, you can convince anybody on anything, yes or no. The question begs, really the statement begs the question begs the question, and allows you to make the right choice, man, what you want it to be. It alludes to the correct answer, which is yes, and it is true. If you're creative enough, witty enough, you can convince anybody anything. Now, this devil is very crafty. Remember, Esau, all right, the biblical Edomites and the Idumeans, which are the Romans, the ancient Romans, which would be your modern day, today, Europeans. All right, it primarily would be your modern day Europeans, the people who descend from ancient Rome. Okay, the Grecians, all of those people, man. The Greeks, the ancient Greeks, all of that. Those are people primarily were Edomites. Okay, you can simply look at the book of Maccabees in 167, roundabout BC times. Judas Maccabees, which is named Judah, Yahweh Maccabees, fought against the children of Edom. It's in 1 Maccabees 5 and verse number, I think it's 3. All right, so this is modern history. That's a history book, and it is recognized as a history book. All right, it's world. It may not be canonical in the eyes of the so-called Christian church, and they don't use it amongst their writings, but it is recognized as a history book. So if that's history, then we have a benchmark of truth regarding the Edomites. Now, if you look at the people in power at that time in 157 or 167 BC, they had a coin, all right? They had a coin also of the descendants there, and they actually marked their coins with the face of the emperors and Antiochus and everything. So you can see exactly what the people look like, and they have busts and everything of Antiochus. Those were the Edomites, all right? So we know what we're talking about. So you people are celebrating Saturnalia, all right, Christmas, okay, and that talk about up here, it says here, period of general merrymaking. Don't they say Merry Christmas? Now, why are they saying that? Okay. Let's go into it. All right, here. This is, I believe, from the History Channel. It says, is Christmas a pagan holiday? It says, thanks to Roman Empire's conquests in Britain and the rest of Europe from the 2nd century BC to the 4th century AD, and that's around that time. All right, so there you have it. Okay. It says, and their suppression of older seasonal rites practiced by the Celts and other groups, today's Western cultures derive many of their traditional celebrations of midwinter from Saturnalia. The so-called Christian, because they're not Christians, holiday of Christmas especially owes many of its traditions to the ancient Roman festival, including the time of year Christmas is celebrated. The Bible does not give a date for Jesus' birth, right, who they call Jesus, which is really Yahushai. In fact, some theologians have concluded he was probably born in spring, as suggested by references to shepherds and sheep in the nativity story. Yeah, no shit. Because it's cold over there, and there's no way that he could be born in a manger, all right, in the dead of winter. That just doesn't make any sense, nor would anybody do that, and the sheep weren't even out there. So, there you go. It says, but by the 4th century AD, Western Christian churches settled on celebrating Christmas on December 25th. Okay, Christmas. Christ Mass. People are celebrating a Mass. Now, you Christians who say, oh, we don't do Mass. Well, yeah, you do. You do Christmas, Christ Mass. What are you talking about? You celebrate Mass. It's the same thing, same ideals. It says Western Christian churches settled on celebrating Christmas. So they made this up. They came to a consensus, and this is what they came up with. It says on December 25th, which allowed them to incorporate the holiday with Saturnalia and other popular pagan midwinter traditions. You see, because people couldn't put down their paganism. So they said, you know what we'll do? Look, we'll cut you a deal. All right? And the scripture says not to mix the truth with a lie, man. All right? You don't mix this truth, man, with nothing else. None shall want her mate. We don't do that. We're not going to just compromise, man. All right? Scripture says, love not the world, neither the things of the world. Saturnalia is a pagan tradition that's of the world. So how religious are these people? They're not religious. They're pagan. They're suspect, all right? So yeah, pagans and Christians coexisted, not always happily, during this period. And this likely represented an effort to convince the remaining pagan Romans to accept Christianity as Rome's official religion. Before the end of the 4th century, many of traditions of Saturnalia, including giving gifts, singing, lighting candles, doesn't that sound very familiar? Feasting and merrymaking. Don't they have a Christmas ham? Which ham is against the Bible. But it's pagan. They used to do that. It's a sacrifice. You see, when you eat a Christmas ham, it's a sacrifice to a god, to the god of Saturn. And when you put the honey over it as well, the glazed honey and all of that, that's for another reason as well. You know, I don't want to get all into that, but it is for a reason. It is a specific ritual that is being done. It's very specific and it's deliberate. So for you people to say, "Oh no, it's just a coincidence, man. It's just tradition." No, it's not tradition. It is tradition. It's pagan tradition. It's witchcraft and sorcery tradition. And you're doing it. And that's against the Lord. And that's punishable by death. All right? Because you're bowing down to other gods, sacrificing to other gods. It's even worse. You know, you're worshiping them and you're sacrificing to them. So it says, before the end of the 4th century, many of the traditions of Saturnalia, including, okay, all of that, it says, had become absorbed by the traditions of Christmas as many of us know them today. Okay, here's the sources. John Matthews, The Winter Solstice, The Sacred Traditions of Christmas. Ancient History Encyclopedia, Saturnalia, Did the Romans Invent Christmas? BBC News. Okay, let's get some more information. Okay, this is how people celebrated Saturnalia. Okay, it says during Saturnalia, work and business came to a halt. Schools and courts of law closed, and normal social patterns were suspended. That's exactly why America is Rome reincarnated. This is from ancient Rome. Look, people decorated their homes with wreaths and other greenery and shed their traditional togas in favor of colorful clothes known as synthesis. Even slaves did not have to work during Saturnalia, but were allowed to participate in the festivities. In some cases, they sat at the head of the table while their masters served them. Fucking freaky ass weirdos, man. Yeah, because they were all in the spirit, of giving and all this other bullshit. Thought they were being nice to the slaves for one day. That's why they give you a Christmas bonus, by the way. All right, that's through the spirit. I ascertain that, but just putting that out there. Possibility, It says instead of working, Romans spent Saturnalia gambling, singing, playing music, feasting, socializing, and giving each other gifts. There you have it. You can't say that that's just a coincidence, and you can't bring up the wise men and giving gifts for the baby Yahweh Shai, because clearly all the historians, pretty much agree that he was born in the spring, because you can't herd sheep in the wintertime, man. You can't do that. That's a given. You got to use common sense. It's impossible. All right? That wouldn't happen. So it says, wax, taper, candles called siri were common gifts during Saturnalia to signify light returning after the solstice. Now, if you don't know what the winter solstice is, you could look that up as well. All right? When it says, on the last day of Saturnalia, celebrations known as Sigalaria, it says, many Romans gave their friends and loved ones small terracotta figurines known as Signalia. Okay, Signilaria, Salakia. It says, which may have referred back to older celebrations involving human sacrifice. Okay, so that's what you're doing there. That's what you're doing there. Saturnalia was by far the jolliest Roman holiday. The Roman poet Catullus, it says, famously described it as the best of times. So riotous were the festivities that the Roman author Pliny reported built a soundproof room so that he could work during the raucous celebrations. And it's true. There's a lot of celebrating in Christmas. And what are they celebrating exactly? Nothing spiritual. It's all pagan. Okay? That's what it is. So, hey, I hit the point quick. That's all it is. You can go into this more yourself, brothers, and do your research on it. But with that, I'm going to say Shalom, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Barakatah, Barakatham.